I've heard good things. I've heard bad things. But let's watch the first episode of The Three Body Problem with an open mind and see what we think. Welcome to Sidetrack, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. Netflix surprised me with The Last Airbender. I wasn't massively excited about it. I actually didn't think it was going to work. The creators of Game of Thrones have got a decent pedigree here. They created one of the best shows in the last decade. Well, it didn't end great. They don't really stick the landing, but Game of Thrones was epic. Nobody can argue with that. So what are they going to do with this very complicated, very surreal in places three-body problem? I read these books many years ago, and I have to be honest with you, I'm not 100% convinced I understood most of it. So let's see what these guys do with such a difficult adaptation. I'm going to sit and watch it now, and I'll come back at the end and tell you exactly what I thought, and then ask you guys to get to the comments and tell me what you thought. There will be spoilers ahead. Jesus Christ, the open's powerful. Really works. So, I mean, it's Chinese Revolution, and, you know, a bunch of young communists up on stage saying that the theory of relativity and the Big Bang Theory open up the possibility of there being a God. So bad. I like the scientist who's kneeling is chilled, and then these kids beat the crap out of him and kill him. Spoiler. The reaction of the young people when they realise what they've done is actually quite powerful. The guys that did Game of Thrones haven't forgotten how to do blood. There's a little bit when he's dead and he's lying on the floor and a trickle of blood rolls into his eyeball, and obviously he doesn't flinch, obviously, because he's dead. It's a very subtle effect, but I've not seen anything quite like that before, and it's very good. So, interesting opener. I'm trying to remember the books now. I don't really remember them. Let's talk science. Woo-hoo. So, there's a guy in this that's unhappy. He's sad because their experiments prove that all of the theories of the last 60 years in physics are wrong. His boss is so unhappy about it, she threw herself into what I think is supposed to be a neutrino detector. They're not normally that massive, I don't think. But neutrinos are something you hear a lot in sci-fi. But they are a real thing, and they are generated by the sun. But they only very weakly interact with actual particles. So what that detector was it's basically a bunch of cameras, very complex cameras, and then they put a load of heavy water in the bottom. Heavy water is just there's a lot of like sort of hydrogen in it. It was developed to help create nuclear weapons back in the day, but heavy water. And when a neutrino hits that, what you're trying to do is have a mass that's very rich in atoms. So when a neutrino is more likely to hit it, and then when it hits, it creates a little flash of light or energy, and the cameras take a picture of it. They like putting these things at the bottom of caves and mines. So the deeper you go, basically, the more effective they are. I didn't know they built them that big. But yeah, she is, unless the story goes somewhere else, she is so depressed that physics is wrong. She's killed herself. And she starts talking about, there's a lot of talking about God in this. I'm hoping, I really wish I remember the books better. But they're really leaning heavy into that at the moment. The guy who gouged his own eyes out, by the way. Again, very good effect. Okay, so I've just watched the first episode. Big question, am I excited to watch the second episode? Honestly, not really. Look, there's a lot of very high concept stuff going on here. And actually watching the episode more of the book has come back to me. And I remember the book being very high concept and very confusing. Um, the acting's good enough. It's beautifully made. The effects are very good. It has a very powerful opener, like I said. The ending. The universe is blinking. Yeah. The whole countdown thing. A lot of suicide. I'm just not convinced that this is going anywhere exciting that I actually want to watch. I like high concept stuff that makes you think about the world and the concepts that it's trying to get across, and there's a lot of mystery and things. But I want my TV to be a little bit more exciting. I really enjoyed Halo. I told you yesterday I loved Halo, mainly because there's some action, there's some excitement, there's some interest. You can have too much drama, you can have too much suspense, you can have too much this in my sci-fi. So, will I watch the second episode? Yes. The problem with the three-body problem is that I kind of know where it's going already. And there is some action, I think, if I remember right later. And this is an adaptation, so they can change it and make it more interesting. I think by the end of this first season, the aliens do turn up, if I remember right. And it doesn't go well. I'm just not desperately excited to. There's a lot of story to tell, though, and I do say this in other videos sometimes, that series like this do take a little bit of time to get going because there's a lot of information they have to share. There's a lot of background we have to get, a lot of characters that have to be introduced, and this series really has that. I just think from the first episode of Game of Thrones, and this is the same guy, so that we can compare it to that, even though it's completely different genre and everything in lots of ways, but it had me from the first episode. There's a few things in there that were like, wow, whoa, I want to know what's going on here. I want to know more. This, it's not capturing me. It's not exciting me. It's not making me think I'm desperate to watch the next episode. But I think I need to get to maybe episode 3 or 4, and then, maybe I'll have a bit more to base that on. All the great series have slow starts. All of them, really. So, yeah, I'll give it a chance. Should you watch The Three-Body Problem? If you like shows that are a slow burn, if you like shows that are very cognitive and, get your juices flowing and require you to think and stuff, and then, if you like things like Silo and maybe Foundation, I think you'll love this. It is very beautifully made, so if you just appreciate, visually interesting stuff, you'll like this. If you want action, you want excitement, you want something to blow up, you're not going to like this. And I'm in the blow up category. I like stuff to blow up. So guys, get into the comments and tell me what you think after watching the first episode, or have you watched the entire series? Are we going to get things to blow up? Are we going to get some excitement? Get in there and tell your fellow Sci-Trekkers whether they should watch this series or not. As always, if you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out. You'll never miss any of our new videos. You can also go to patreon.com/SciTrek, where most of our new videos do appear first. I hope you go and watch The Three-Body Problem. I hope you enjoy it. And if you don't know, get into the comments and tell us why. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.